This is a CBS News special report. I'm Tony DeCopel in New York. We're coming on the air with news that Luigi Mangione, the young man accused in the killing of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a New York City street back in 2024, has just announced his intention to plead guilty. This is a change. He did it in federal court downtown Manhattan just moments ago. He still faces those very serious state charges, and we'll have more on those in a moment. But first, let's talk about the details of what just happened. I've got Caroline Polisi here, a criminal defense attorney and CBS legal contributor, Anna Schechter, also on set. She heads our public safety and crime unit here. Caroline, to you first. He had been intending or actually pled not guilty. So what just happened?
That's right, Tony. We'd been hearing reports of a plea deal in the works. This is bombshell news. There's no deal on the table here. He's pleading guilty to the federal charges, to those two federal stalking charges, which was in the indictment. Criminal defendant has the right to change his plea at any time. So it looks like he's taking his shot at potentially making a sentencing argument to the judge for a reason why he should get something other than life in prison. I mean, that to me is the only benefit he would receive in doing this.
Why did we have all this buildup in the days and the hours ahead about a plea deal, which would have had a lot more to it? And instead, all we get is not even a formal new plea, but just the intention to plea.
Yeah, well, nothing has been easy in this case, and his lawyers are litigating every aspect of this. I was always honestly skeptical of the prosecution team offering a deal in the first place, meaning they would give him some sort of benefit in exchange for not going to trial. They're not giving him any benefit here. He will get a benefit in the sentencing guidelines of an acceptance of responsibility, and because he's a first-time offender, I think this is his one shot at potentially getting something lower than life. And then there are state implications that we should talk about, but it's like a 3D chess game that his lawyers are playing, and perhaps they feel this is the best way to go.
Is there a motivation on the federal side for pushing it in this direction? I mean, what do they get out of this? They don't have to go to trial, right? So it's less work. What else?
Exactly. But again, this is not a deal, so they have no say in it, right? A criminal defendant can plead guilty at any time.
You don't think this is the result of conversations behind the scenes?
It could be. I think definitely, look, as a criminal defense attorney, you always want to see what you can get, right? But again, the prosecution just may not have been willing to give anything. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's ultimately his desire. But the prosecution, they do get, they don't have to go forward with the trial. They don't get, there's always a chance that you get that one rogue juror on the jury. And so, yeah, this case will not go to trial.
And the public fascination on this has been intense from the very beginning because it was a murder on a public street, or an alleged murder on a public street at this juncture. And because he became this kind of emblem of public frustration with healthcare and the healthcare system. We know Brian Thompson, the CEO's family, is in the courtroom. With all these twists and turns to now, what do you make of things?
Well, it's dramatic in the courtroom right now. Our own Alice Gaynor is there, and she's updating us. A judge is actually checking if he is competent to announce this intention of a guilty plea. And so the judge just said he finds he is competent. So there was a lot of discussion about that. Brian Thompson's family, they're in court. This is a dramatic moment. And for so many people who have followed this case so closely, and there's been this upswell of support for Luigi Mangione. Let's see how this might affect that. I'm wondering if there's going to be some Mangione fatigue. People have been following this so closely. How is the public going to respond to this? It remains to be seen.
Tom Hansen is downtown for us, outside the federal courthouse. He's following all these details, has been from the beginning. Tom, what are you learning?
Hey there, Tony. Well, yeah, just a lot of buildup today. We're along with the media gaggle that basically stretches the entire block. And you can just imagine the scene inside that courtroom where our WCBS Alice Gaynor has been passing out notes to us. Mangione entering, feet shackled, hands behind his back, tan prison clothing, white T-shirt underneath. He looked at the gallery as he walked in, and in that gallery, of course, sits Brian Thompson's family, the UnitedHealthcare CEO, as you mentioned, who was murdered. And so a very extraordinary moment in the courtroom, perhaps the first time the family has been looking face to face to the man accused with murdering their loved one. Now, the question shifts to that other court case, the state case led by District Attorney Alvin Bragg. What does this mean for that? Well, the question here is, do any of the charges that he just pled guilty to overlap with the charges that he's facing in that case, where he is facing murder in the second degree and a slew of criminal possession of firearms charges as well. So really, you're talking about the federal case with the stalking charges being a case of threats, harassment, and surveillance compared to the state case, which is a case talking about taking a life and possession of those lethal weapons. Obviously, we will be looking ahead to that other court case to see exactly how it shakes out, Tony. But as I mentioned, an extraordinary day here, a bombshell development in the Luigi Mangione saga, Tony.
Tom, thank you. Caroline, that word again, bombshell, because we were expecting one thing, maybe a plea deal. We got something else. And we were going to have jury selection on September 8th in the federal case, but we also had the state one. What does this mean? What do we know it to mean at this juncture for the state charges?
So right now, today, it means absolutely nothing, okay? Alvin Bragg is full steam ahead, and he's been very clear that he wants to prosecute Luigi Mangione in New York City for these crimes.
Understandably, it's an alleged crime on the streets of New York City.
Exactly. He was first on the scene. He's always wanted to try this case first. It means nothing now. What it means for the defense team, they will almost certainly revive this double jeopardy claim that Tom was just talking about here. They've been arguing that from the start. They're saying, look, this case from the beginning shouldn't be prosecuted in unparalleled jurisdictions because it's the same underlying conduct. And that's the heart of the New York State double jeopardy law. You can't be charged for the same conduct and the same crime. Now, there are issues with that because these are separate sovereigns. It's a separate sovereign doctrine. And so they had been proceeding. I don't think ultimately it's a winning argument. I think the state case will move forward. However, I do think that it could put the state case on pause while they litigate this really important issue, because it's not a frivolous argument to be making, and the judge will want to consider it very closely.
If he is guilty in the federal case, regardless of what happens in the state one, or if he's also guilty of the state charges, does he get to choose state or federal prison? And does that jurisdiction, I mean, where he's going to be spending his time potentially for decades, does that factor into this?
I think it has to be a huge factor. He's in federal custody now, even though he was going first in the state charge, which is interesting in and of itself. So he's in the MDC Brooklyn. Not a great facility, as we know, but perhaps much better than a state prison. So if he's sentenced first on the federal case, he'll serve his federal time first. And that could be, really desirable for someone in his position.
Really interesting. I see you nodding along, Anna. What are you thinking?
I mean, I'm thinking about Rikers Island versus MDC. Two bad choices, but MDC is definitely the better one of the two.
I was just getting word from our control room that the judge just asked Mangione in open court, do you understand you could be sent to prison for life? And he said yes.
Yeah.
As this progresses today, he signals his intention to plead guilty. The judge then reads the details of what that intention could lead to. What's the timetable here? Could a plea actually be entered today or no?
No, a plea is not going to be entered today.
Is there anything slower than the legal process?
Glacial pace, right? The wheels of justice move slowly. But what will happen is, and we heard the judge asking him there, do you understand that this is not a deal? You are not getting anything in exchange. There are no promises on the table here. Now, his lawyer has likely told him, we have a better shot potentially at mitigating the sentencing than if we go to trial, but there are no promises by any means on the table here. So he's walking into this fully aware of what he's doing.
All right, Caroline, please here. Thanks to you, Anna Schechter, Tom Hansen downtown, and Alice Gaynor, last but not least, inside the courtroom with those great details. Appreciate all of you. And to recap, Luigi Mangione, the 28-year-old accused in the 2024 killing of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a New York City street, just announced in court he intends to plead guilty in the federal case. He still faces those very serious state charges, but it's unclear what will happen in that case with today's bombshell change. Our coverage will continue on CBS News 24/7, your local news, and tonight, of course, on the CBS Evening News.